You're live.
KFI market report brought to
Well,
you
we're pretty backlit here.
is trading down 125 points. Nasdaq is up 40. S&P 500 is flat. Gold is at $13.19 an ounce, and oil is at $61.07 a barrel.
Time Warner Cable Business Class is now Spectrum Business, the best value for your business. Call 866-432-9413 to switch to Spectrum.
Southland weather from KFI. Most could see some sun poking through. Highs in the 60s at the beaches, 60s to low 70s for Metro LA and Inland Orange County. Low to mid 70s for the valleys and IE. Got a slight chance of showers tomorrow morning, then about a 60% chance of rain for the afternoon. Highs in the 60s to about 70. Chance of showers continues through the rest of the week with heavier rain expected on Thursday and Friday. It's 65 in Brea, 59 in Lake Forest, 61 in Marina Del Rey, 64 in Burbank. We lead local. From the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Amy King.
When people are describing it over the years, remember that AM radio is a viable and modern source for news.
So is Monica late? Oh, you're leaving now. Leaving now? Okay.
And you will be with Mr. Little.
Say what?
This is the one that brings us back. Soon AM radio will be king once more. Gary and Shannon.
Can I have my computer up? Oh, it needs to go up a little more than that. I'm going to play some of that Pomona audio here. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is the Gary and Shannon Show. Gary Hoffman and Shannon Farrand in here until 2 p.m. And boy, do we have a show for you. Our former governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, speaking out on the women and the Me Too movement. Also, OJ from last night on Fox. In his own words, this is what is unique about this, what is being brought to the table on this, is, yes, he wrote that book, I didn't do it, but if I did, et cetera, et cetera. Then he goes to jail in Nevada. But this was an interview from 2006 that has been sealed, and without his authorization or permission, because he signed that away, he described using his hypothetical device of a guy named Charlie. He described in detail where he parked, clothes that he put on, the knife he took, the gate he went through, and Ron Goldman's actions, taking a karate stance, and all this stuff. So anyway, we'll play that for you because it's even though obviously it's years old, it's 24 years old, or I mean the crime, but to hear him giggle about it is really, really bizarre, and it cements sort of his psychosis. And then, oh, by the way, the whole LAPD planting a glove thing. OJ, in his own words in this interview, by the way, this is not in the book, but in his own words, he blows that away. He admits to leaving all this evidence behind. I'm sorry, Charlie left all this evidence behind, not OJ, because it's purely hypothetical. So a couple things. First of all, President Trump visiting Hollywood tomorrow, an undisclosed location. What's going to happen is the order here is that he's going to fly directly into Miramar, leave Air Force One at Miramar Marine Corps Air Station, and then he's going to Marine One helicopter it down to the contractor's location where ICE and Border Patrol are setting up the real-life prototypes of the wall, the most beautiful wall ever, the most amazing wall of all time. And he'll inspect those, and he's not going to try to defeat them, apparently, but he's just going to look at them and nod his head, the whole thing. Check that out. He'll shake some hands, and then we're not sure of the order. If he goes back to Miramar and addresses this mandatory formation that absolutely nobody likes doing, so everyone's going to stand there and then take a seat or stand at ease, and he'll talk to the assembled service members there at Miramar. Then he flies back up here to L.A. tomorrow, right in time for the commute. And we do not know if this means Santa Monica or LAX. And sometimes I think we all agree that generally when Air Force One flies into Santa Monica, that's a far smaller footprint. And it's a far smaller, it takes it takes what's normally a Donnybrook and it brings it down to a kerfuffle. Because if you land in LAX, that is just a gigantic Irish pain in the ass. And then then you Air Force One it to Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, you Marine One, you helicopter it, or you convoy it to Gwyneth Paltrow's house or whatever. Tomorrow, though, in one of the biggest switch-ups I think we've seen in 16 years, this is going to be a Republican fundraiser, which is why we don't know where it's going to be. And the White House, we keep combing the White House schedule. They're not giving us any clues where it's going to be. But the person that is holding the fundraiser, Elliot Broidy, is a top Trump money man, prominent Los Angeles Republican power broker. I thought that was a contradiction. I didn't think those existed. Power broker and fundraiser who has been linked to 2 ongoing political scandals, is co-hosting a fundraiser for Donald Trump on the occasion. Elliot Broidy, the deputy national finance chairman of the Republican National Committee, is set to preside over a $35,000 per person event for Trump on Tuesday night at the undisclosed location, but it's in Beverly Hills. And so as we learn more, we will pass it on. And I don't know, let me check in with the source. Interim news director Chris Little. Are you guys getting a heads? Has LAPD released anything? Because usually the locals give us a heads up 24 hours out and say, stay off Santa Monica or whatever. Stay off Beverly Glen. He is, oh, okay. So I think within 24 hours, I think we'll see something before 2 p.m. And so if you're here and you're still wearing that shirt, we can discuss that. But I'm going to say, apparently the word around the campfire is that this fundraiser is east of 405. So this could be that worst nightmare. When Obama used to go to Gwyneth's house, I thought he stayed west in Santa Monica and just went up, some glen, some valley or whatever. This one, I think he's going to come up Santa Monica in the convoy to Beverly Hills past Westwood. Is it a question mark wrapped in an enigma, shrouded in mystery? And so that's our interim Attorney General, Xavier Becerra, when he was at Stanford Law School. Javier Becerra, when he wants Hispanic votes. Is that the same chap? Same chap? Okay. Yes. Well, you can bounce that off of Kevin Leon, the president pro tem of the California Senate. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He's running when he ran for office, he became Kevin De Leon. Oh, no, that's Tony Villar. Yeah, no, that's Tony, the guy who failed the California bar 4 times. He failed it as Tony Villar. That's, yeah, but that's the same chap as the guy that's running for governor right now. Only it's a bit different now. And I love it when national media, who don't know that, say Villa Ragosa. It's like, and they say doesn't that mean Village of Ragosa? Yes, that's it. That's what he's named after, Ragosa Town. That's where he's from. Well, so anyway, we don't know where it's going to be, but it's going to be in Beverly Hills, and I guarantee it will be a gigantic pain in the ass tomorrow. And it doesn't matter which president it is. Bush luckily didn't come out here very often. Obama came here, I'm going to say like every 5 months for 8 years. And Trump, this is his first trip to California since he's been president. Governor Jerry Brown, when we come back, Governor Jerry Brown firing off a letter to President Trump, the Honorable Donald J. Trump, at 8 a.m. this morning. He has an invite for Donald Trump. If you want to come see something get built, be prepared to be blown away, because he wants him to see his pet project. That and more coming up. It's the Gary and Shannon Show. Brian Suits filling in, also streaming video, unsheepyourself.com. That's the YouTube channel, unsheepyourself.com. Money, how about $1,000 in your hand? Your chance to win 1,000 American dollars is coming up. Brought to you by Cunning Dental. Missing teeth? Call Cunning Dental for a free exam. 888-640-SMILE. 888-640-SMILE. Now, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Chris Little in that shirt has the news.
Light rain is headed back to SoCal. Light rain tomorrow. A second stronger storm scheduled for Thursday through Saturday.
He really has an awful shirt on. Chris Little does. Yes, I'm wearing the same Monkey Sports hat.
drive on the 10.
Have you ever heard the audio or seen the video of Arnold in Brazil for Playboy? He talks about how much he likes the ass, so I have that. I'll play that. So now at the top of this next segment, I say.
You say, hey, your chance, or you want to make some money, listen here, or something like that. So ABC wise, Stephanie Ramos is on the Trump administration unveiling its school safety proposals. You know, they back down on raising the age to buy guns, but they're cool with arming teachers. Katursky and Mark Remillard are on that helicopter crash in New York. That interests you.
Maybe a little bit. I think the thing about it is that everyone's seen the video.
Yeah.
That's the interest level on that.
Andy Field, we don't really like him that much. He's on Stormy Daniels and Trump. They're giving the money back. Ryan Burrow is on that Cleveland fertility clinic that had a malfunction and fried a bunch of embryos. And then there's Jason Nathanson doing, entertainment stuff. OJ, Black Panther, Wrinkle in Time.
Maybe if he has like overnight ratings for OJ,
He says.
I guess we don't.
He said the ratings are in for premieres of American Idol and OJ: The Lost Confession. Fourth weekend at #1 for Black Panther. Oh, and Scientology launches a TV network.
I know, and we probably can't talk about that because they're advertising on KFI.
Are they really? I've not heard that.
They're advertising their TV channel right here on KFI, and I'll hook you up to an e-meter, and we'll find your mood. So we're taking their money. We're taking their damn money.
God. So I don't know. I don't know if any of those interest you, or if you feel like you can do it yourself. And then locally, I guess Andrew is pursuing the background on the Pomona cop killer, but doesn't have anything yet.
I gave out my dark secret place address last night, and I got some takers. I have some men and women in law enforcement that want the Pomona cop killer's status to become public record before Trump is here tomorrow.
That would be fantastic.
Oh man, I missed a for Have You Seen a Free Couch? Someone gave us a chair by a curb on San Fernando in the Valley.
Oh.
But Joey Murata won because he had a recliner chair and a mattress in his neighborhood.
All right, so none of the ABC guys tickle your fancy?
Not really.
Okay, no worries. And then I'll just keep my eyes peeled if Andrew has anything on this Pomona guy.
Today, by the way, is the 90th anniversary of the worst civil engineering accident in American history, the St. Francis Dam collapse in Santa Clarita. We're trying to integrate a new rooster. We lost our alpha rooster to a neighbor dog a couple weeks ago, and we went to the Lancaster Animal Shelter and found a stray rooster. So we're trying to integrate them. And they don't. You cannot rub two cocks together and not get blood. Oh, that came out wrong. No, you can't. You can't just drop a rooster next to a rooster and say, "Hey, I know you were by yourself for the past 2 weeks since your dad died, but here's a new rooster." If I charged admission, that would be cockfighting. But they got to fight. You cannot keep them from fighting.
If you're retired or retiring soon and count on investments to help with bills, don't miss it. Learn to plan for retirement income. What to do to help make your money last. The most important thing to have in your retirement plan besides money, and it isn't a will, the best time to take Social Security and more. Seating is limited. Reserve now at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net or call 800-994-0302.
You look to sports and movies, award shows as an escape, right? And instead, you're scolded and lectured for 4 hours. 4 hours about stuff that you've never done in your life. Who wants that? Why don't you want to spend a Sunday night listening to that? John and Ken, today at 2. 640.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is the Gary and Shannon Show. Brian Suits filling in. And money. If you're looking to win some money, listen up. Shh. Oh, don't tell everybody. Answer the phone, even if it's from a number you don't recognize. Your next chance to win is next hour. You have a chance to win $1,000 once an hour, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. So check it out next hour. And we have audio from the Pomona shooting on Friday night. We'll get to that. A letter from Governor Schwarzenegger. And I should point out, because as a aficionado of local history, there's one piece of local history that's it's always fascinated me because it's so accessible. And let me ask news partner Chris Little about this. The most deadly civil engineering disaster in American history happened 90 years ago today, Chris Little. Did you know that? Do you have a clue? No, that is still standing. That's an example of a successful piece of civil engineering. And by the way, its 1/10 scale model is the Pacoima Dam. Did you know that? Well, anyway, there was another dam, William Mulholland, who deserves a better movie than Chinatown. The St. Francis Dam collapse was around 2 a.m. earlier this morning, 90 years ago. The most deadly civil engineering failure of all time. Of course, LADWP. The history of LADWP is entwined with William Mulholland inexorably. He started as a ditch digger, and then when they started, LADWP was originally a private company, and he made sure, he was such a scammer, he made sure that when they laid water pipe around Beverly Hills, around Westwood, around downtown LA, he used different crews to do it. And he did not allow the crews to go to different sites. So the net result was, from Van Nuys to downtown LA, all of the sites of the major water mains and connections were in his head. And so when the company became a public company, they didn't originally want to retain him. But he pointed out to the board that was interviewing him that he was majority owner, and that, oh, by the way, there's no map. I'm the map. So by default, he became the first water commissioner of LADWP. And by the way, you talk about a consistent management style to this very day. I mean, remember the fire engine that fell into the sinkhole in Van Nuys? They didn't know that. They didn't know that thing was there. That died when Mulholland died. The water main that flooded Pauley Pavilion, that flooded UCLA, That was Mulholland gave contracts to his cronies who delivered iron pipe below spec, and they kept the difference. They were bribed by him, and knowing full well that these things were time bombs, but they would all be dead. That was not for LA. That was how you did business at the turn of the century. So we needed water. So they identify this Francisquito Canyon north of Santa Clarita, and you drive right through where the dam was today. If you go on Francisquito Avenue through Santa Clarita, go north, when you get to the former dam site, when you go past that, that's where the reservoir was. So they build a dam, an earthen dam with some concrete. William Mulholland was not an engineer. He was not trained in any way, shape, or form, but he maintained that he was self-taught, that he was an autodidact, and that he could do all this stuff in his mind. And so his engineers designed the dam for however many million cubic feet of water. And after it's designed and the blueprints have dried and they're constructing the dam, he tells them to raise the dam by 10 more feet. And they say that's engineering-wise, that's physically impossible. If we do that, it'll be extraordinarily dangerous. If it ever gets up to the overspill, it'll just burst. The water behind it, you can't just add 10 feet to a dam. It doesn't work like that. You need to know how much you want beforehand. Mulholland said, I don't care. Actually, he said, I don't care. Just raise the level of the dam and dam your eyes. And so they do. And they create the most dangerous dam in America. And on this date, night before I left, for the past 2 days, 90 years ago, it was raining cats and dogs in Los Angeles. The LA River was flooding right here by where Warner Brothers is, overflowing. We took care of that later on in the 30s. Yeah, but it was raining cats and dogs. The reservoir, they could not let water out fast enough. It filled up. And a guy drove by on a motorcycle at 11 p.m. and said the dam was already spilling over the top. When he came back, like at 1:30 in the morning, it was burst. Him and LADWP. And so the water starts going down the channel to the Ventura River. It goes down to the Santa Clarita River at about 18 miles an hour, takes a right, and goes down out Ventura, down the Ventura River. It goes out to the Pacific Ocean. They literally have no idea how many thousands of people died because there were so many migrants living below the dam. They do know the first people that went was the dam keeper and his wife because they chose to build their house under the dam. In retrospect, might want to put it up on the ridge. So yeah, and so the water runs down. A pair of California Highway Patrolmen on motorcycles in Fillmore and Moore Park were racing ahead of the water, honking their horns, telling people to get to high ground. They saved hundreds of lives, and they wound up being caught up in the water. There's a statue to them in Moore Park. There's two guys on Harleys, two bronze guys on Harleys, 1928 Harleys. They're in Moore Park. But they don't know how many thousands of people died. I believe they found a body like in 1980 in Santa Clarita, but it was 90 years ago today that happened, and you can go visit the site really, really easily, get out and hike through it. It is Gary and Shannon with a little bit of local knowledge. Brian Suit filling in here through Wednesday. We'll be back in just a second. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Chris Little with the news.
A suspected burglar has died in police custody, and Santa Ana Police Corporal Anthony Bertagna says the autopsy will figure out what happened.
Whether this guy had some medical issues, whether this guy was under the influence of narcotics. There's a lot of different reasons why he
What do you think? Boring story? Good story, badly told, or bad story, well told? Yeah, but this one's red. Yeah, it's really easy. You go up I-5 and take the Magic Mountain Parkway exit. And go on Copper Hill Or you can just take McBean, and McBean ends at Copper Hill, and then take a right at Copper Hill, take your next left, and that's Francisquito, and about 8 miles up. Was that a Drunk History episode? I think you're right. Oh, shit. You're right. What season was that? Let me look it up on YouTube. Oh, there it is. Mind cue.
Oh, spice. Endless ambassador. We make sense. Oh man.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Connor, and today we're going to talk about. Sorry.
That's hello. You want to say hello?
I'm so up, man.
No, I see. You're looking at me over here, and I'm over here.
I'm the goddamn director of this.
I know. I'm the goddamn director of this. So far, my favorite quote. Do one.
It's growing. Either LA has to stop growing, or we have to figure out more water. Mulholland goes to Fred Eaton, and you get to LA. There's spies, there's bribery, there's manipulation. William Mulholland's something. Hey.
Geez.
Out of this is Eaton and his buddies. Then in the 1920s, goddamn reservoir is gonna be fucking beautiful and mwah, f you. And he builds the St. Francis Dam in San Francisquito, and everything is great. And then they go, hey, William Mulholland, there's a leak. And William Mulholland's like, I'm kind of in the middle of a power play. I ain't worried about that motherfucking dog. He goes to sleep. That night, he gets a phone call in the night. The dam has broken. There are more dead than the San Francisco earthquake. And this was William Mulholland's downfall. But in the end, of nonsense.
There you go. More dead than the San Francisco earthquake. So I tweeted out the Drunk History episode. $9.4. Holy dog shit. I tweeted out the Drunk History episode about the St. Francis Dam. It's Jack Black as William Mulholland.
I didn't know they did one on that.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't either. It's funny, and it's all beeped out so I can play it.
Yeah. You know, there's a Facebook page or a group that I'm a part of that, like St. Francis Dam Archaeology, and they go up there, and they're like in some weird little turf war with like people who live up there.
Probably.
Who say that they own the property, but I guess they
watch
don't really own the
this
property.
part.
The entire owns Val. And he's like, you're not my damn site for $1 million. And Mulholland's like, I didn't do that. So Mulholland's like, F it. I'm gonna build a goddamn reservoir. It's gonna be fucking beautiful and mwah, f you. And he builds the St. Francis Dam in San Francisco.
Oh, I gotta watch that. That's cool.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. The Gary and Shannon show. Brian Suits filling in for Gary and Shannon. They're filling in for Bill Handel, and this is going to be the way it is, at least through Wednesday. We'll reassess, and this is the 90th anniversary of the worst civil engineering disaster in American history, the St. Francis Dam collapse. Fun fact, more people were killed 90 years ago last night than were killed in the San Francisco earthquake. Did not know that, but I tweeted out the Drunken History episode. If you don't know Drunk History, by the way, if you've never seen it, never heard of it, you'll love it. It's one of the funniest shows on TV ever, and it actually, bottom line, you do learn history. But they did an episode, Jack Black is William Mulholland, so we were just laughing very loudly on that. Well, speaking of civil engineering disasters, let me tell you about high-speed rail. Did anyone notice the cluster of earthquakes around Gilroy, between south of San Jose, between Gilroy and Patterson? There was a bunch of 3.5s and 4.1s and all that, and I just tweeted out, you know what? Somebody should build a high-speed rail line directly across that fault, which is the route. Never mind the San Andreas fault that it crosses, and then goes in supposedly a tunnel through over rather than over the 14. It's going to go through the mountains there under Acton, and then and I know they haven't publicized this because it's ludicrous on the face of it, but then there's going to be like a 38-mile tunnel through Tehachapi, and this is all in an effort so that at some point the thing can crank up to 190 miles an hour. So that will speed you to San Francisco in about 4.5 to 5 hours, depending on conflicts on the track. So anyway, just on the face of it, building a high-speed rail line over the world's most active seismic fault was stupid. It barely passed in 2008, Prop 1, if you remember that, and though me and Kennedy were telling all of you to vote no on it, but you know, you can't be... we can't do that many victory laps when we're proven right. This morning, Jerry Brown sent the following letter to Donald Trump at 8 a.m. Donald Trump coming to California tomorrow. Quote, Dear President Trump, when George W. Bush first set foot in California as president, he reminded the country why the largest state in the union matters, stating, for decades, California has been the place where the future happens first. Your continuing success is essential to the success of our national economy. Then he goes on, blah, blah, blah. That is as true today as it was then, and the Golden State, the sixth largest economy in the world, is thriving. California added almost 3 million jobs since the recovery began. It's always annoying me. Whenever a governor or anyone calls California the Golden State, it's as annoying as when Eric Garcetti calls residents of Los Angeles Angelinos. It's not done. You know, it's done in movies and stuff. But anyway. So then he goes on about Harry Truman recognizing his first trip to California, blah, blah, blah. So now here comes the money shot. You see, in California, we are focusing on bridges, not walls. And that's more than just a figure of speech. After you've examined your wall prototypes on the border, I invite you to head north to the Central Valley, the heart of California. Here in cities like Fresno and Madera, more than a dozen bridges and viaducts are being built for the nation's first and only high-speed rail line. We are already putting 1,700 unionized Americans to work. You have lamented that, quote, we don't have one fast train, close quote, in our country. Well, Mr. President, in California, we are trying to fix that. We have a world-class train system under construction. We invite you to come aboard and truly make America great again. So in other words, Jerry Brown can't even... didn't read the headlines on Friday when the new projections, the new guy who's in charge of high-speed fail came from a really disastrous project in Seattle, though he came on board late. But evidently he's hit the High-Speed Rail Authority and said, no more hiding numbers. We got to just get this out there and just admit to people, you know, what's going on. So on Friday he dropped the bomb about it's going to be 20% over, but it's already way over budget. It's going to be over budget. It's going to be over time. And already in the construction so far, building these meaningless stretches of it, what they're doing is they're saving the pain till later, because they know that if people could see the math, we would kill it right now and just stop pouring money down that hole. But it's a peculiar government parentheses democratic thing parentheses to once you're in a project to say, well, now that would be wasted money. So now we need to spend more because otherwise we'll waste the money. But this is all based on a premise that in the year 2028, you'll need to get up to the Bay Area really, really badly to pitch your startup or whatever, or go see Gigantes play the Doyers or whatever, right? And then you're going to jump on a train, and that train's going to leave Los Angeles at normal train speed, like it's Metro frickin' Link. And then it's going to go up to a tunnel underneath Acton. Then it might speed up to Mount Tehachapi. And wouldn't you love to be the person in a 38-mile-long tunnel under Mount Tehachapi when the 7.8 earthquake hits? But whatever. And then at some point in the Central Valley, the thing throttles up to like 170, 180 miles an hour. That glides you efficiently over where we just had a bunch of earthquakes over the weekend into San Francisco. And I believe it's about a 4.5-hour one-way trip. And you're going to do that for about $200 10 years from now. This is the scenario that they're operating under. And by that justification, they're bleeding us of billions and billions and billions to buy up this property, build these idiotic viaducts, and these elevated high-speed rail lines, these towers so that they can lay high-speed rail line over that. When here in 2018, and this is what I've never understood that for the people who voted for this, in the year 2018, where I am here on 3400 Olive Avenue, I literally could walk to Bob Hope Airport up Hollywood Way, pay cash, pay $90 to jump on Southwest, and in 58 minutes be either at Oakland, San Jose, or SFO. For $90, and I walked to the airport and still beat high-speed fail from LA. Yet we're funding this. And Jerry Brown is so delusional. And if you saw him last week, where I don't know if a capillary burst in his brain or whatever, he was unintelligible when he was lurching around in his Jeff Sessions rant, not making a single legal argument, but just these ad hominem arguments about these other Trump officials who pled guilty to things that don't have to do with immigration or whatever. So anyway, he tosses off ... this letter to Donald Trump this morning, inviting Trump to... if I were Trump and I was briefed up on that project, I would accept this invitation with live cameras. And I would explain to Jerry, who is actually older than Trump, I would explain to Jerry how the premise of this project was bad. No high-speed rail exists on the face of the earth without substantial government subsidies. They are not commercially viable. They don't pay for themselves. They never have. And whatever demand there is to get from LA to San Francisco is already satisfied by airlines. And by the way, we just completed the safest year of airline travel in the history of airline travel. There was not an airline crash in 2016 or 17. There was like one minor one. And it's expandable. It's scalable. That's the beauty of it. It's scalable. You can either add bigger planes or you can go to different airports. That's the great thing about LA. Oh, what are you going to do? Long Beach? No, I'm doing John Wayne. Oh, yeah, great parking. Oh, I'm going to do Burbank. Free parking, kind of. Burbank's the best airport in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Just park, boop, you're in. Alaska, Southwest, whatever. Maybe Delta. You want to get to San Francisco? That's how you do it. It's really, really simple. So it's too bad. It's too bad Trump's not going to see this. But maybe you know what? Maybe we can fake it. We'll be back in just a second. The Gary and Shannon Show. Audio from Friday night. You can be an ear witness to the tragedy happening in Pomona Police Department. A young officer killed by a kind of a mysterious guy. We're trying to figure out who Isaiah De Jesus Valencia is. There are some clues on his Facebook page, but I don't speak that language. We'll be back right after this. Gary and Shannon, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. There's Chris Little with the news. Yeah, Ontario's great.
decades-long practice of commissioning photos of topless female models. If you want to see sales,
Let me get you the exact address of that statue honoring the two. I think they were L.A. Ventura County or CHP. I forgot, but even my daughter knows that story. It is. Oh, I'm sorry. It's in Santa Paula. My bad. It's in Santa Paula at. The statue of the two guys on their motorcycles is. At North 10th and Santa Barbara. So it's on 10th and Santa Barbara. But it's, yeah, two guys on their Harley Davidson motorcycles. And the old school CHP caps and everything. Let me absolutely make sure of that, yeah. So anyway, if you're ever going up to Ojai, you go through Santa Paula. And there's a statue of two guys on old school Harleys. And they were the two police officers who drove down what is now the 126. And they drove ahead of the flood, alerting people to get to high ground. And I told my daughter that story as an example of being selfless. And so every time we go up to Ojai, she always points to that statue. And my wife forgets, and my daughter tells her the story. What are pupusas? These glasses are from Amazon. They're peepers. They're just reading glasses. Anyway, they're called peepers. And I buy them like 2s and 3s. These are the All Blacks. Oh, you know what? I know Salvadoran food because I used to live at 6300 North Lancashire back when that was the MS-13 neighborhood. And I like it better than Mexican food because it has a lot of black beans, kind of like Cuban food. Theresa May is actually blaming Russia for the nerve gas attack. The Gary and Shannon Show. Brian Suits filling in KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. And the president arrives tomorrow, comes to SoCal to look at the prototypes of the wall. I don't know what the selection process is. I don't believe I guess he's the final word or whatever, but we don't know if they're going to have like Cirque du Soleil trying to defeat the wall, or if they've hired acrobats to try to get over the wall. But he's going to inspect them and declare them all beautiful and awesome. And then he makes a speech at Miramar Marine Corps Air Station, and then he wings up to LA for a fundraiser. And no wonder he doesn't like California very much. One of the most meaningless uses of time ever. Back on February 24th, just a few weeks ago, the California Democratic Party had their convention down here in the Southland. And after Maxine Waters screed about impeaching Trump, and again, there is an actual constitutional process to impeach a sitting president. There actually is, but so far, none of the criteria are even close to being fulfilled. But regardless, this is about as meaningful as passing a voice vote against cancer. But the assembled California Democrats, and remember, these are the epicenter of California Democrats. You take your regular Democrat, and then you condense him down to a California Democrat. Then you take that guy down and you condense him down to a Democratic official. And then they do things like this.
Let the record show that the Democratic...
They actually took a voice vote. Is there a motion? Yes. Do I have a second? They actually went through the parliamentary procedure to pass a voice vote on whether or not he should be impeached. And there's loads of lawyers in the crowd, but they still did it. And then what she said, and I forgot, this is the vice chairman of the California Democratic Party. What she said at the end is she said, pea-grabbing Donald Trump. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't he love California? So that happened. In Pomona on Friday night, there was an erratic driver. Police were called. The driver ran. There was a brief pursuit. The driver crashed into a parked car, ran out, runs into an apartment building. This was captured on video. People, bystanders watching this, captured this. This is chilling, including the shootout. This is from our friends at Channel 5 KTLA. Oh, I'm sorry. It starts, by the way, the beginning of this audio is the audio of the crash. And there's witnesses, they're rolling smartphone video when this happens. So here comes the crash. Now the guy bails. Now you see it's dark, but you can still clearly see two police officers chase him into the apartment complex. They're holding their weapons in their holsters, keeping their hand down, trying to stabilize it as they're running. But they're chasing after the guy into the apartment complex. Now, I'm going to take an educated guess and tell you that the suspect, Valencia, was in an apartment and that people outside watching this unfold probably heard gunshots and then began rolling video, because these 5 rounds don't sound like they're muffled from inside an apartment. This sounds like return fire from one of the officers. And there's video of them by hand evacuating the 2 officers. Officer Casillas, who was new on the force, deceased. He was dead, and before the standoff was even over. 15 hours later, they send a canine in. The guy surrenders. His name is Isaiah De Jesus Valencia, 36-year-old. Some neighbors were saying, well, he has mental problems. One of the neighbors said that he had some military service. And so we went to his Facebook page, and he has pictures of him in junior ROTC at Gary High School in Pomona, and sometime, I guess, in the 90s. Because my question was, as I looked at his Facebook page, it didn't look to me like there was a lot of English being spoken, sort of in general. And so I am curious in regards to the guy's immigration status, because with Trump coming to LA tomorrow, if a Pomona police officer was killed by somebody with no legal right to be in this country, that's going to explode. That's going to be a huge story. And not that it makes a difference to Pomona PD or the guy's family. I don't know, maybe it does. But as I looked at what they were saying, initially when I heard that, I thought, well, because you can't enlist as an illegal alien until DACA, but because you can't enlist as an illegal alien, it wasn't likely to me that the guy had served in the military. So when they said, well, he had problem reconnecting after the military, so I assumed he was here legally. But then I don't see any evidence that there was any military service in this guy, except that in high school in Pomona, he was in junior ROTC. Well, you know what? They don't ask for a green card when you're in junior ROTC. So I don't know. If you are in a position to know, and I've already got some people getting me answers, if you're LA County or Pomona, you could email me, darksecretplace at protonmail.com, protonmail.com, darksecretplace. Don't use a department-issued device, laptop, or anything. Use your own personal phone to contact me, because I'm curious about that. Yes, the booking sheet is going to be a public record by today, but I'm just curious if anyone knows, because that would be a big deal. We'll be back right after this, and the Trump visit, what we know up to now, plus Dean Sharp next hour, the House Whisperer. Brian Suits filling in for Gary and Shannon, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. Yeah, I believe the guy was illegal, because on his Facebook page, there's no. He's got 134 friends, and nobody's speaking English to each other. And I mean, I get it, you know, Pomona, but it's just really curious that you know, he doesn't have one friend on Facebook who is speaking English.
Growing mountain of flowers and candles outside the police station. Officer Greg Casillas was shot Friday night by a reckless driving suspect who barricaded himself in an apartment for hours. A second officer, Alex Wynn, was shot. He's expected to recover. Pomona Police Chief Mike
Dean's Topics is, sorry.
I'm just trying to find, you know what?
You can control it on there.
Yeah, except they're both so fucking close together that
it looked like you were turning the volume knob.
Yeah, both cable boxes are like this, so I have to sit there. You can shield it with a piece of paper if you can get under there, but whatever dumbass put two cable boxes like that.
That's silly. Yeah, Dean was gonna talk about the vintage craze and the fine line between farmhouse and white trash.
What does he mean, like buying old houses? Or?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I think just kind of trying to make your place look
Ralph Lawler,
worn, vintage,
rustic. Let me start back at 7:02.
I don't think
there's an indoor mall I went to years ago in Pomona where absolutely none of the merchants were born here, all speaking Spanish. Well, there we go. I'll roll some news. So I'll do that Schwarzenegger stuff here for the. Or no, I'll do OJ. I want to redo OJ at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
I mean, I know no one cares about OJ, but everyone cares about OJ. And to hear him, yeah. And you only say that if you haven't heard that audio.
Yeah. I like when they kept doing the thing where they would like zoom in on his hands and they kept like showing his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I gotta say, the woman who interviewed him, I didn't recognize her.
She was then on the panel.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was.
Yeah.
It took me a second. I was like, oh, that's her.
I had a Smith & Wesson M&P 9. I really liked it. It was the one with no external safety. It was perfect for a lefty. Turns out it's illegal in California. But I liked it.
We've got to wait for it.
And then the M&P 45 is terrific too. The M&P 9 is such a good gun that the Belgian National Police carried the Smith & Wesson M&P. You know, and if you know the irony there, if you don't, I'll tell you, the FN is based in Belgium. And Belgian police could carry any FN pistol they want, but they chose the Smith & Wesson M&P. That's how good of a gun it is. Yeah, the handgun roster is insane. The California DOJ keeps a roster of legal guns. One of the guns that you can't have here is my favorite concealed carry gun, the Springfield XDS, which is in .45 caliber. Yeah, you can buy out of state. You can go to Oregon and buy a Springfield XDS and you can bring it in. But you can't sell it in California because it doesn't have a visible round end indicator. A round end indicator is something externally that shows that there's a round in the breech, that there's a round in the weapon. Now, this is supposed to be a round-in indicator, and that's why you never hand somebody a loaded weapon. You always hand someone a pistol with the magazine dropped and the slide back, right? That's, if you ever go to a gun shop and the guy clears it and then hands it to you, he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, so you learn this in the military, you learn this in combat, you learn this in real life. The only way to hand somebody a handgun is unloaded like a revolver with the cylinder open, or an automatic with a slide back. It's the only way you should ever accept a weapon. And if you hand it back to the gun dealer, it should be in that condition. Yeah, the Pasadena spokesman, yeah. KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk, the Gary and Shannon Show. Brian Suit filling in for Gary and Shannon. And we'll get to Arnold Schwarzenegger's firm stance against harassing women, because he was at South by Southwest, the arts and music celebration and ideas in celebration in Austin, Texas over the weekend. Elon Musk, by the way, also there at South by Southwest. And wait till you hear what form of government he's declared Mars will have. So that's where we are with our genius overlord, Elon Musk, that he's now declaring what form of government will exist on the surface of Mars, because his spaceship will be ready for short trips by 2019. So finders keepers, I guess. So this video of OJ was shot in 2006. I guess its ownership bounced around from hither to yon, and it was never aired in 2006 in support of his book, I Didn't Do It, But If I Did, Here's How It Was Done, or whatever, that narcissistic, insulting book, that money grab that he wrote, where he de facto admitted to the murder. Well, in this interview, he fleshes out his recollection of the murder. And just like in the book, which I've never read, but in the book, he hypothesizes a fictional person named Charlie, who is sort of his alter ego, a thinly veiled alter ego. So that is what he did in this interview from 2006. It was aired last night on Fox. And then in between clips leading up to his recollection of the murder, Soledad O'Brien had Christopher Darden there, the woman who conducted the interview in 2006, and some other friends of Nicole Brown Simpson, etc. And they were reacting to OJ's recollection. So keep in mind, 2006, off the top of my head, actual permanent news director Chris Little, the Nicole Brown Simpson murder was, the not guilty was 94. The murder was 93? 92. Which one was it? Oh, he's on the phone. Sorry, interim news director. Blake doesn't know because he wasn't born yet, but I think I'm in the wheelhouse. Well, you know what? I wasn't born during the French Revolution, but I know all about that. I'm sorry. That's the most pretentious answer someone's ever given. But bottom line, it's 20 years later. And he's, because of double jeopardy, et cetera, he's not going to be criminally tried again. He doesn't have to use some hypothetical to do this. He could just flat out, put on a tutu and dance, and as he's describing it in iambic pentameter. But anyway, he sits down and he uses his avatar, Charlie. So this is his recollection of the night, and now you're off the phone now. Chris Little, the year of the Brown murder, Nicole Brown murder, was it 93? The trial was 94, right? Do I have to go all Jane Wells on you? So therefore not paying attention to the news. Oh, well, you'll find historically that the OJ trial was kind of a watershed here in Los Angeles. So, anyway, Tucci. So anyway, here is his scenario, the hypothetical. And again, this is supposed to be hypothetical. There should be no detail that you can't remember since you're making it up. It's hypothetical, but this is OJ in his own words. Might have happened. That's the first of his many, many, many weird laughter outbreaks as he's recounting beheading the mother of his children. Air fingers. So in other words, his alter ego has been spying on Nicole, and that Nicole has been getting some horizontal refreshment from a young waiter from Miscellaneous named Ron Goldberg. Goldman. He and Charlie. Is it hypothetically razor sharp? Charlie took the knife. Hypothetically. It's a hypothetical. Just make something up. It's a hypothetical. Just say a unicorn flew down from the heavens and grabbed you and flew you over the gate. Whatever. It's a hypothetical. Make it up. Oh, there's candles, like she's expecting someone to show up. So we'll come back in just a second. So again, he's insisting this is hypothetical just to cover his legal ass, but then he also can't recount details because of he can't or he doesn't remember them or something. But 95. That's no hypothetical. It's a hypothetical. Wait till you hear about how much blood there was, and what happened to that glove that fell. That more OJ in his own words. I love it when these cold cases are finally solved, and it's never who you thought it was. It is the Gary and Shannon Show. Brian Suit filling in. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Chris Little with the news.
Police are on the scene of another explosion in Austin, Texas, that badly injured a woman. This happened hours after.
I'll be back.
After this, you got to read the catch thing.
Oh, you mean after the
right after this.
While the president
sorry.
the state to take a look at the extended the invitation.
When what?
Officials say
Toss to traffic?
No, you'll say weather traffic next.
Oh.
And blowing up. It was landing in Kathmandu, which is Nepal's capital. At least 50 people have been killed. We'll take a look at your drive.
Your chance to win $1,000, a grand in your hands coming up. Brought to you by Cunning Dental. Missing teeth? Call Cunning Dental for a free exam. 888-640-SMILE. 888-640-SMILE. Keep listening. We'll be back with details right after this.
Hey gang, Conway here. This is for all the listeners struggling with hair loss. Now I'm sure you've tried lotions, pills, creams, and potions, right? With so many options and doctors out there, who are you going to trust? What's really going to grow your hair back? Here's the incredible breakthrough, the new advanced FUE treatment. Receding hairline, thinning hair.
All right, I unmuted. Well, I don't use a producer as it is. I don't. There's really no one I've ever met that could even help me produce Dark Secret Place. But for a regular day show like this, one producer is fine. You know, the key skill of a producer in this kind of radio is you'd better know the news, or else you're really no good. I heard somebody, and you can't allow stupid mistakes to get through. The Kim Jong-un's government, his regime in North Korea, I heard it called the Un regime. Ouch. No, it's the Kim. If you're going to use that phraseology, it's the Kim regime, like Chloe Kim. It's not, the family name isn't Chloe, it's Kim. Kim Jong-un, family name is Kim. But I heard it referred to as the Un regime, and that was painful. Wait, what did the guy say about my hat? Well, it appears somewhat racial, like Cleveland Indians logo. I wouldn't wear. It's a chimp. El Cid, what's your problem? This is the logo to a sports store in Northridge called Monkey Sports. It's a chimpanzee. Why is it racial? What's wrong about you that you would call a stylized chimpanzee racial? Discuss. Help me out with that. What about Gorilla Glue? Is that racial? I'm probably going to go to Doghouse and have the Fonz on a lettuce bun.
And consider the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition as a bonus. Natura Plus leather sealing, premium protector headlamps, swing headlights, packaged in a highly capable, hard-working truck you expect from Ram. Keep doing what you do, but who says you can't do it in a nicer truck? The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
That timeshare you're not using can be passed on to your kids, along with the increasing maintenance fees, whether they want it or not. Learn your exit options at timeshareexitteam.com.
Southern California homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your pipe leaks, low water pressure, or rusty water by repiping your home today. Repipe Specialist has been serving Southern California for over 25 years, collectively repiping over 35,000 homes. We built a reputation on offering the most efficient repipe process for customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialists only uses the best repiping materials with high-quality PAX or USA Grade L copper pipes. For a limited time, take advantage of our most affordable offer. Right now, on approved credit, get 0% interest for an entire year. That's right, a quality home repipe, wall patching, and a lifetime guarantee, and 0% interest. Repipe Specialist provides a free in-home estimate explaining the process tailored for your home. So call Repipe Specialist today for your free in-home estimate at 888-503-3749. 888-503-3749.
This is a great little battery. It's also solar, but it has a regular output USB there. Then it's got, like for my LG, okay, wear my hat to downtown LA and see what feedback you get. Are you, I infer from that you think a black person would attack me because there's a chimp on my hat. I think you're a retard. I think you're a moron, El Cid.
Tell us how you want to enjoy your outdoor space, and we'll take care of it all. Start to finish, exceptional design, seamless installation, and we'll even throw in up to $2,200 of really cool outdoor features for free.
And also, it's kind of a national sport. If you want to go find something to be pissed off at, it doesn't take a lot of time to find something, but you really have to stretch to sit there and be pissed off at a hat.
Everybody agrees with you. Make it a law.
And really, what's wrong with you that you find a chimp to be somehow racist? Money. KFI M640, more stimulating talk. If you're looking to win some money, listen up, Buttercup. It's a simple one-step plan. All right, you're listening? Step one, answer the phone. There you go. All right. Yeah, answer the phone, even if it's from a number you don't recognize. Your next chance to win is next hour. You have a chance to win $1,000 once an hour, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. So listen up and put $1,000 in your hand. All right, OJ is from a 2006 interview. This was on Fox News last night. This is for the first time, in his own words, in his own voice. He is describing, by using this rhetorical device of an imaginary friend named Charlie, who has been spying on Nicole, and then gave OJ a heads up that Nicole has been rubbing fuzzies with people, and OJ decides this has to end, so he goes to confront Nicole, but Charlie has brought a knife. OJ's wearing a black stocking cap and black gloves, and he's wearing an all-black outfit. And Charlie brought the knife, not OJ. So OJ now has gone through the back gate. I'll rewind it a little bit here. He's gone back through the back gate, which was either unlocked or broken or whatever. And Nicole has candles out. She has candles in the apartment. So love is in the air. So let's go back to OJ last night. His confession of how he beheaded his wife, ex-wife. Yeah, that's what it was. And that's Ron Goldman. So just to catch up, candles are lit, music is playing, probably Grover Washington Jr., love is in the air, the kids have been put to sleep, Nicole is awaiting Ron Goldman to show up and Airfingers deliver some glasses or whatever. OJ sees this. He can put one and one together. He knows what's going on. Oh, what luck. He brought a knife. And he mimics like a karate stance. That Ron Goldman, seeing OJ or Charlie strike Nicole, she's down, she's hurt herself. Ron Goldman goes into a karate stance. Stuff. I believe a lot of O positive and AB negative stuff. Oh, I know. Lots of stuff. There's stuff around. What kind of stuff? Oh. Again, that's him recounting that there was a whole bunch of blood, and it cracks him up. And we had to listen to it like 10 times. He says, I hate to say this, but this is hypothetical. He keeps repeating that. He's saying that as he's laughing. He sounds proud of his work, by the way. So again, the coroner's report, Nicole Brown Simpson, her throat was slashed with such anger and strength that she was nearly decapitated, right down to the cervical vertebra. The veins, the arteries, everything, the viscera, esophagus, everything. He was sawing at her head. That is how violent he went at her. Ron Goldman was stabbed all over the chest and all that. Of course, there's blood all over the place. And I'm glad he thinks it's that funny. This was 2006. 2006. And at the end, they did say he did not authorize this being released. But again, he wrote that book. I don't know. And then he doesn't even break character. He's laughing about it. There was so much blood. All right, Dean Sharp is going to join us next. The House Whisperer will perhaps have some. We won't meld topics and talk about how to get blood out of a carpet. That's not funny. But we'll be here with Dean Sharp right after this. The House Whisperer on with Gary and Shannon. Brian Suits filling in KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Chris Little, the news. All right, so I have to go dark for Dean Sharp. No, the best Southern Culture on the Skids bumper is Walk Like a Camel. That is the best Southern Culture on the Skids. Yeah, that's right. Goldman was stabbed 22 times. Camel Walk, that's right. That is the best Southern Culture on the Skids bumper. So I will recommence the broadcast forthwith at noon. Yeah, so he'll be in for 2 segments. I don't have his permission to do this, so I will go dark, and then we will recommence at noon.